video presentation is a production of RDK 3000 TriStar Video Studio Productions, a division of RDK 3000 TriStar, CR, 2025, EY 1025, RDK VSP. Please be advised that any sensitive and distressing subjects being requested are discouraged due to such acts after concerns of violence, dangerous acts, and due to respect. As those who request subjective scenes in question result in entire video presentation to be unlisted or age-restricted, otherwise we reject the topic, including attacks on vulnerable, including furries in diapers. Unless otherwise stated, animation, story and plot is a work of fiction, and based in KBE 224 and differs from plot in Canberra Galaxy, as events, places, persons, and subjects are those of fictional type or are used in a fictitious manner. Websites and social handles mentioned are those of fiction unless otherwise stated.
Mickey Ventstar. I Mark Blake note. The subject to be the name of the operating system from Tron Computings from Elftronic City after TDOS 10.2 Razzle Dazzle to be version V-3.0 named Ares, while Z Technologies to release ZOS 26 named Rytrex after version 19 Cyber Galaxy.
I do note, Mark Blake, this is the announcement to be made at top of the hour at 8 o'clock p.m. this evening, after the Tron skit wraps up, however in an event of esports, to be tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock p.m.
Correct, as Raymond Blake said on this afternoon's BWGT. Cloud Deck and BATP to compete in esports tomorrow afternoon at 3:12 p.m. and 800 Kiatrokins, whereas at the same time, baseball game from Xenopolia to be the Xenopolian League Baseball to be the All-Star game, as the Home Run Derby is in progress at Stadium in Xenopolis City, Xenopolia.
Baseball? Who's in the leaderboard on the Home Run Derby from XLB? And is it aired on Elitopian television?
Yes, on Alito Sports 1 and 3. Also on live stream I am watching on my Pocketmate, Xenopolis City. Zyto's batter is letting in the Home Run Derby as he made his run, as it's a skill challenge. The objective is to score as many home runs within a given time period as they keep count. The one with the highest count wins.
I do note, this is unlike the three-pointer challenge in basketball, slapshot challenge in ice hockey, and of course penalty kick challenge in soccer/association football. Anyhow, what's left of ZY Park is to be rebuilt to become something different, as it's to become a new arena.
Is it concerning hockey and basketball, to be new home of Elite City Heat and Elitos?
No, as it's not an esports arena, to be for other sport, to be for tennis.
Yes, this is I heard the billboard, to be used for tennis in a multi-court arena stadium.
Yes, as I Mark Zaniel's note, it gets mentioned on Alito Sports Center on Alito Sports, also on RDK 3000 TriStar today. This is it to be new home of Alito Open 2027, EY 1027.
Correct, Mark Zaniels, as the Alito Open 2025, EY 1025 gets held at the venue in Elite City's South Side, in which wraps up after this Sunday. Also for the 2026, EY 1026 counterpart to be final year.
Yes, Mark Blake, as I Daniel Zaniels am hyped on the tennis finals. Anyhow, I am also hyped on the Tron 3, Tron Ares as well. This is I can't wait to see the film, October 10th, 2025, or Kappa 10th, EY 1025. What the? I do note the news banner regarding such programming notice, as told by Derek Ventstar, Derek V. Crypter from RDK 3000 TriStar, as I must ask his relative Mickey Ventstar. Mickey, what's happening to the RDK TV Xylem cast to BWG2N?
Daniel Zaniels, the Xylem cast needs to halt, as I am in messaging with Division, he said. The skit to present will not be featured on RDK TV as RDK 3000 TriStar today to air half hour early to be a 2.5-hour newscast in which includes feature in the 8 p.m. hour. Derek, when the Tron skit to start?
Bear in mind I have multitasking enabled on my devices. Mick Event Star, the skit to start after 1924, starting with the light cycle battle scene, then the disc battle reenactment starting around 1935 as RDK 3000 TriStar today primed to start at 1930. Go amend your DVR immediately and stop record VWG2N if recording via RDK TV, Trex Vision 8, Reese Vision 3 or Jinx Vision in Silimcast.
DVR recording is already stopped by Sister Tracy as I told her that via messaging.
Good.
Chris Aero Elita from Vero Aero Master Control AV. Derek V. Cryptor from RDK 3000 TriStar. I received the teletype on the VWG2N Silimcast on RDK TV to halt. You sure the skit won't be featured on RDK TV as per RDK 3000 TriStar Telestudios Productions discretion?
Yes, Chris A. This is RDK 3000 TriStar today to be airing half-hour early as per our discretion.
Okay.
Mark E. Cryptor, Chris K. Cryptor, RDK TSRT to start half-hour early at 1930. VWG2N Silimcast is halted as per discretion by our producers at Master Control R due to the skit related to Tron. Aries to feature on Vero and Aero VWG2N as we would have handoff to Alito News 24 Deck Mill for feature, but Alitotronics Telemedia told us it's devoted to the TV audience of Alito News 24 Deck Mill only on feature and live report from Elite City Convention Center during Alito Fan Expo 2025, EY 1025.
Understood, as we must get ready. Chris K. Cryptor.
Alright. Mark E. Cryptor, as I do expect this to happen.
RDK TV, TXVA, BZV3 and JinxViz opted out.
Countdown on feed TR is in Tron microcycles grid time, but I to say in seconds.
Await countdown.
Tron skid air to master in 5, 4,
Alarm,
3.
alarm, alarm,
Oh my god,
alarm,
abort,
alarm,
abort,
alarm,
abort. Auto
alarm,
sensor on
alarm,
feeder T.
alarm,
Auto
alarm,
sensor on
alarm,
feeder T.
alarm,
Cut to
alarm,
Raymond Blake.
alarm,
Nudity,
alarm,
blamed on
alarm,
topless
alarm,
females in the
alarm,
view.
alarm, alarm. Tron skit under delay due to indency exposure on camera. Subject was not aired on Vero and Aero via Master.
Delayed? Until when? Hope it's no later than 1930.
Delayed until between 1928 and 1930.
Noted. This as Ray Blake has given us for VWG2N go into ad break. If it were to air, and if the auto sensors show up on nudity, then VWG2N episode would have concluded due to policy and air RDK TV right away, but it's under ad break as RDK TSRT to air at 1930 on RDK TV, in which would yield feature programming from our sister networks under Alitotronics Telemedia. 1 minute 40 on timer. Then we head back to VWG2N as I Chris Aero Elita to give cue to go back as the countdown timer to switch to VT clock at T-40. This as we go back at 1927 with Tron skit retry number 1. Has the topless females been caught, Alex?
Definitely yes. The security has detained the fellows and gets escorted out. Take note the security was on site as the situation was handled within seconds.
Was it off-scene and off-cam at time of incident?
Yes, they were on it swiftly, as the situation gets resolved in timely manner.
Good.
I am Derek V. Cryptor from RDK 3000 TriStar. The females were next to squad in diapers. They are permanently banned from RDK 3000 TriStar for code diaper. Code D event violation as the squad gets offended and gets a huge blowout. The parents and owners are off for Operation Bumblebee, and to return back to RDK TSR HQ. Some diaper furry hater smelled the odor and tried to punch Casper in the squad but was immediately tasered down by Alito Rytrex Center security, occurring off scene of skit and had no impact to the skit. He gets escorted out.
Actually, it have some impact, as the delay is extended 2 minutes as it to begin between 2030 and 2032 as a 60-second extension to ad break is implied. VWG2N to resume at 1928.
The Tron skit must not go ahead to respect the furries in diapers, especially the RD Trex kids, although it gets delayed again to between 7:30 and 7:32. Due to the incident involving diapered furries hater, but he gets tackled down swiftly by the security as the semi-nude females was nearby as the squad had the blowout as they were seriously offended. As this gets attention to the person in which tried to attack Casper and the crew after verbal insults, and which gets attention to security guards and which takes action fast with the taser.
Yes, we must have to move the esports match announced this afternoon, scheduled for tomorrow afternoon against Cloud Deck, best of 5, Tron Laurent, at 3:12 p.m. or top of Crown 8, to 8 o'clock tonight, Crown 0.
Yes, This is the esports coach is seriously talking to the coach of Cloud Deck and the organizer on the matter to move it forward to 8 o'clock p.m. If this is the case, then we must get ready for the match. Yes, as the Tron skit must not go ahead as due to policy of Neo-Ionic Trony Media after such event toward furries in diapers but attempted. VWG2N Silimcast must halt on Trony Explosivision.
Advisory: VWG2N Silimcast terminated on Trony Explosivision under Neo-Ionic Trony Media NKB, GR, ESP, X, over attempted incident involving diapered furries as due to their policy. The Silimcast must be terminated. The skit to begin 1932 and 0. The skit to begin 1932 and 0.
Yes, as VWG2N is back on air with Elito GR ESP Daily Top 10 in brief. This to fill in for 2 minutes 30 toward 1930 and 30. Anyhow, who sprayed the scented air refresher? It smells like berries just now, as a few moments ago I smell the odor.
It is me, Trexie Z Cryptor, Trexie Xylostar, Y Trex Swift, from RDK 3000 TriStar. Also Zine Z Cryptor and the Xylostars including Trexer, Claw, in addition to Rio S Cryptor and Dance, also the Trex Friends, Trexies, Slackers, Trex Tuners, Zine Pack, Blitz 8, Scroll Stars, Cyber Galaxy Crew, etc. With Trex Breeze Aero Effects air fresheners, 1 per person, to get rid of the odor from the RD Trex kids. This is the management was notified to get rid of the odor and have the Elito Right Trex Center smelling fresh. This has got attention by Raymond Blake as he said to Trexer to give thanks as the odor was strong.
I do notice the fans get switched on and the exhaust fan as well to get rid of the odor, as the odor resulted in delay.
Trixie, I res des 64 to get 1, where does it get sold it? I mark Zaniels to explain, Raymond, at various retailers even here in Elite City. Alert alert alert, Doge Vision and Doge TV also Neon TV from Robloxian Federation has terminated the VWG2N Silimcast via Aerovision, for other reason as they waited too long for the skit. The Silimcast gets to halt as they to Silimcast RDK TV for RDK TSRT.
When the show gets to air, RDK 3000 TriStar today on affiliate RDK TV?
1930 and 0. This in a dozen seconds according to Vero Aero MCAV digital clock. 30 seconds before conclusion of Elito GRESP Daily Top 10, in which to end in the next half minute, then we prep for the skit. 60 seconds on the timer. The skit confirmed to start 1931 and 0. The skit confirmed to start 1931 and 0. If anything happens to the skit, we to hand off immediately to RDK TV.
Okay.
This is Raymond Blake, Cloud Deck, and VATP match may be rescheduled early. It may impact the skit.
What the?
What? How do you know? VWGT Insider.
This is RDK 3000 TriStar today. I am Chris K. Cryptor.
And I am Mark E. Cryptor, broadcasting live and direct from RDK 3000 TriStar.
Music start at T-30 Tron microcycles or 19 seconds. Countdown on feed TR is in Tron microcycles grid time, but I to say in seconds.
I hope this is not the case regarding esports, as we must get the subject started.
I really hope so, as it's about to start.
Await countdown.
Tron skit start in Tron skit air to master in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, action.
It's at Master, as I note headline rundown on RDK TV. One of it includes new OS announcement tomorrow afternoon by Disney and Tron Computings. Coming out of beta to master release. Oh my god. Get ready for an announcement from ZGR and Z Fuel.
Tron skit halted pending news.
Elito GRESP correspondents are unavailable to report for VWG2N. Derek B. Cryptor from RDK 3000 TriStar. Stand by. Announcement has came. Cloud Deck and VATP rescheduled to 2000 hours. Hand off to RDK TV and be on alert from Elito GRESP and Raymond Blake. RDK Newsline is just now reporting on this as with Elito GRESP, VWGT, and Elito GRESP correspondents reporting on Elito GRESP, Jinx News, Chronos and Elito News 24 Deck Mill. They are unavailable to report for VWG2N. This is Raymond Blake. VWG2N episode must conclude as this warrants game day live tonight, as the match is red hot, it to air on Vero and Arrow upon signal. Seriously? Yes, Chris Arrow Elita. Yeesh. Okay. This just into RDK 3000 TriStar RDK Newsline. We begin with this development just into RDK Newsline, in esports and gaming. We at RDK 3000 TriStar RDK Newsline has learned. The esports match gamer battle announced during VWGT, in which was spotlight of esports alert this afternoon, of VITAOElitis.pro vs Cloud Deck Esports in best of 5 in Tron Laurent. Originally to be scheduled tomorrow afternoon at 15:12, RDK ELC is being rescheduled early to occur at the top of the hour. To repeat, the esports match gamer battle announced this afternoon of VITAOElitis.pro vs Cloud Deck Esports in best of 5 in Tron Laurent. Originally to be scheduled tomorrow afternoon at 15:12, RDK ELC is being rescheduled early to occur at the top of the hour at 2000 hours RDK ELC. 00.0 EMT, 0000 TRX.
We have to pass you a programming alert to viewers at Aerovision and Barrow Television only. Tonight's episode of BWG2N needs to conclude as the BWGT hosts, in which we're going to enact a Tron-like disc battle, needs to be reassigned to cover for Elito GRESP Game Day Live tonight, thanks to the news of the esports match of Cloud Deck and VATP rescheduled earlier than expected to begin at top of the hour. Tonight's episode of BWG2N needs to conclude as the BWGT hosts, in which we're going to enact a Tron-like disc battle, needs to be reassigned to cover for Elito GRESP Game Day Live tonight, as the show is slated to air on Barrow Television and Aerovision. The Silimcast was already terminated on RDK TV, Trex Vision 8, Breeze Vision 3 and Jinx Television since past several minutes in appreciation of Tron skit, in which gets halted due to esports.
Yes. As the play as we the squad call it needs to be axed after code diaper violation. Is it to be violation of RDK 3000 TriStar's Casper's law, this to respect the squad and diapers in the RD tracks kids, after some diaper furry hater almost punched me, Casper, after he said mean and threatening remarks toward me and the squad, in which gets attention to the security, as they tackled the fool down. This after the other incident in which really offends us. We had a severe blowout that required Operation Bumblebee.
Yes, as that also offends me. Daniel Zaniels and my younger brother Rex Zaniels, as Mark Zaniels told us to face away from subject, even he had to blindfold Rex.
Yes, Daniel Zaniels as I Mark Zaniels had to tell my friend Corey Zanders to alert security, but they was already aware of this. Even VWG2N episode also gets to be axed over esports coverage.
Yes, as I Organi must note. Match to occur at 8 o'clock, as I and you Casper must head outside to my car, the 2025 Grand Pi Electric.
Okay, Dad?
We must head back to the HQ, however after 9:30, we must head home to my and your house as my wife, your mother Oliva Skunkistan, to get you ready for bed, as Chubby H Cryptor also Ichiro ESK Cryptor is notified.
Yes, Dad, this is I to see a doctor for checkup tomorrow.
Correct, as with Hydrox.
By the way, where is he?
In Mark X Cryptor's crossover.
Actually, Organi Skunkistan, he is in my brother Max X Cryptor's car, as he is in front of me, as he is also heading back to the HQ as well. Yes, Evie, this is I Max X Cryptor, Max Zarkshaw. Ivo must take you back to the headquarters as Evie to take care of you, as your father Organi said. You have a doctor's appointment tomorrow with Casper, as you to head home after 9:30 p.m.
Okay, Max. Then what you going to do after I get dropped off?
I would have returned back to Elito Richrex Center to monitor the esports match gamer battle of VATP and Cloud Deck, as the esports team members to spectate, in which I was formerly part of, X Gaming, but I to remain at HQ as I to check in with my cousin, Kin 2000, Robert X Cryptor. Robert Zarkshaw from RDK 3000 TriStar Canbordi Unit Division in Canbordi City. Wait a minute. He is visiting Elite City, Illitopia. No wonder he made a surprise visit. I wonder on Canberra Unions. As I to radio him. Kin 2000, when did you arrive to Elite City from Canbordi City? 1700 hours ELS, 0200 kbts. Departure since 22k, 13r. Is Canberra Unions along? They are not in Elite City. Canberra Unions in Mudcup City, Kipnyanershan at RDK Kip since earlier this hour. I am heading back to the main bureau since the Tron skit gets axed. This is Rex X Cryptor from Canbordi City. Robert, are you sure the Tron skit gets axed? Meaning it's been cancelled? Yes, over esports after Code D event to respect the RD Trex kids after Code T incident. You mean the esports of Elito Vitality Protoss vs Cloud Deck esports gets rescheduled early? From 012 Carliota 20th to 0500 Sparkloda 19th? Yes. Canberra Cat. Corey E. Cryptor.
Yes, Rex X Cryptor?
KX and VATP at Retrex GR Expo K20. Esports match rescheduled early to 0500 KBTS. Sparkloda 19th and ENKB.P20 at top of the hour.
I am already aware of this. Canberra unions are not spectating the match as I talked to Canberra Liquipedia of Canberra's event at time of announcement. This as Canberra unions are visiting Mudcup City. Kitnunertion as RDK 3000 TriStar Kitnunion Unit Division Center HQ and Mark K. Cryptor was notified via telephone. I Corey E. Cryptor to depart to Kitnunertion at top of the hour to visit RDK Kip.
Okay, as I to chat with you on messaging upon arrival to Mudcup City. Rekikan. This is Mark K. Cryptor from RDK Kip. Canberra unions are confirmed at Mudcup City. They to head west to Irikoshiel after 20th, July 2025. Okay, Markup. In addition, they are visiting RDK 3000 TriStar Kitnunertion Unit Center headquarters in Mudcup City. Kitnunertion is my colleague to give a tour for them. They are at administration office near my desk. This is for you Canberra unions. One of my colleagues are on the way, but must remind on esports. VATP vs Cloud Deck esports in best of 5 in Tron Laurent at Retrex GR Expo 2025. KI.P 150. KB.P20, 1004XE, EY1025, to occur at 0700 Kitnunertion, 0500 KBTS. 0000Z on Saturday 19th, July 2025 or Sparkloda 19th in ENKB.P20, 2000 hours Elite City, 00.0 EMT, 0000 TRX Friday 18th and Pentdas 18th JITA, EY1025, ED199. At Elito Retrex Center in Elite City, Federal District, Elitopia and to be televised on KIP HWT Net 4 on all networks in Xylem Cast from Elito GRESP.
Even the Canberra DN feed, KB KIPnet?
Yes, and the domestic feed, KIPnet.
Wait a minute. Was this used to be KIPHEX24?
I can but stomp do remember it was KH24 at one time.
Yes, it was used to be domestic feed of KIPHEX24 and KH24. It's just located 2 units to the south of RDK KIP and 1 unit south adjacent to Canberra Telemedia Kitnunertion HQ. This is where the main HQ of KIP HWT Net 4 is located. This is at 6:45, as the colleague is in a phone call, as this won't be too long. He is talking to fellow from the main HQ in Elite City, Head Deputy Leader Milos Z. Cryptor.
Yes, Mark K. Cryptor, as I am Scott KZ Cryptor, Scott Kipsapen, he told me to remind you Canberra unions, there is a watch party in Mudkip City at Esports Arena named DG Kip, to be renamed in August to Mudkip DG Arena, also at Esports Arena up north in Hex City, Hex Topolia at 0700 hours. This in the next Choi, or 6 dozenals, 10 crons, or Kiatricans. This is its .990, 954 SGT or 9, 4 dozen 6 in duodecimal.
Anyhow, I Mark Trexiera do have the said clock Sean Trexiera gave to me on December 31st, 2024 before 12:40 p.m. Anyhow, Sarah now have her scooter being gas-electric hybrid. This being the same make and model as with Alex Ilitoja Tron Wikia, but Alex's scooter is in different color and electric.
Actually, Mark T, it's now a gas-electric plug-in hybrid, same motor and battery but with the engine, fuel tank, and such also transmission being mechanical CVT with sport shift mode, even go in manual gearing and dynamic mode with a 250cc gasoline ethanol flex fuel engine. Quarter-liter inline for this with electric motors, chain and direct drive goes up to over 100 kN per joy, just shy of 180 km per hour.
Which fuel is it running under? Gasoline? E85?
E85. To avoid ethanol corrosion, special coating is applied to the engine parts, fuel tank and fuel pump, etc. Engine revs up to 9K, as it's a naturally inspired 4-cylinder in which is the same engine for the gasoline ethanol portable generator to power electronics while on a go with electric start, although as a gas battery hybrid generator also runs on propane gas.
How long on propane then gasoline?
Since it's rated at 5000 watts, it runs under half load when power meter at 50%, up to 9 hours on gas with 12-liter fuel tank, additional 11 hours with 9 kg. 20-pound propane tank being same one to connect to the barbecue, and about a couple hours on battery being up to 24 hours when running non-stop with engine used first, from propane to gasoline to battery. However, once battery gets low in other modes, the engine is used to charge the battery up to 80%, only takes like an hour to charge under half load. It have a CO sensor in which sounds alarm and shuts down the generator when CO is detected, in which gets uplinked to the CO alarm at my house, in which to sound alarm with the Alarm Corp Home Guardian system, in which to contact the authorities and sends in the fire department and ambulance.
This is not only a sports match to kick off, as we must briefly discuss the soccer event in which was held in Dositopia, overconfusion of TGM and primal duodecimal measurement system and the duodecimal system to most teams. The organization in Altronic City had took over the management for the tournament, as it's renamed to TTSC 2025, as the first match of the series being FC Xenopolis City from Xenopolis City, Xenopolia, who visits Altronic City Ninjas to start at 800 Kia tokens or 3:12 p.m. Elite City, 12 minutes into VTP and OTE Esports at Altronic City's Tronic Dome. This is we have to pass your programming notice to those at Trony Explosive Vision. This is VWGT episode to conclude over football or soccer coverage of Tronic Diamond Soccer Football Cup 2025, EY 1025, NTS 1000.9 to 1001.0, TDE 2002 as the show to return tomorrow. We also want to pass this notice to KBGRESPX viewers that concerning the esports match, this is KBMC or KBMK in Canbellish at their discretion to conclude this VWGT Silumcast and to air esports coverage of VTP and OTE as swiftly as possible, as we have to say goodbye. This is the said network in addition to Canbornet 3 under streaming and KB7GR television to air the said esports match of VTP and OTE in addition to Elito GRESP, and since 2:30 p.m.
Chris Andrew J. Blog item is active as deterrent.
Thank you. This is she appears in front of camera as she is semi-nude exposing.
Mike is muted due to obscene remarks said by person. He said the T word. Thank God it's not from our producers. She said prior hand. It's the XXX, being AAA, judging by Vero Master Control AV Digital Clock, 0, 1 DOS Deck DOS Deck Kiplian Dozenal Time. This being 0:22, 10 minards and 10 seconds being 0, 1, and AAA. And then she said to get naked and to show the breasts, as she said the word boobies and the T word, in which doing such practice is bannable offense at Elito Plaza Center and also illegal in accordance to Elitopian Penal Code and Tronic Diamond Law. I am Chris Elita over at Master Control AV at Elitotronics Telemedia in Elite City, Federal District, Elitopia. This is for those wondering. This occurred 2 seconds toward 0:55 or 04 DOS 7 Kiplian and 2:55 p.m. Elite City, 04 Deck, Triple Deck KLDT being 0, 1A, AA, as in Canberra Modern as 01 and Triple Z as in Canberra Legacy as 01 and Triple X as Triple X refers to subjects in relation to 18+. NSFW codant in pornography, nudity, and sex, but Kiplian have no X in its alphabet as it would have been T as 01 and Triple T. As this was shown off-air thanks to deterrents including clock ident and mute in audio portion as that occurred at Gamer Lounge Bravo as Andrew James and crew is relocated away from subject. This just 1 AAA seconds, 1 Mos Deck Gros Deck Dos Deck, 1 Dos A, 1 Dos Deck Dos Enals in a Dos A. Deck Dos Deck seconds being 22 and 130, being 3,298 seconds into the Kiplian day. 54 minutes 58 seconds or about 38,171.3 tokens.
Yes, as they went outside by main exit, onto some vehicle, the female strips off male's clothes and engages into sex toward next triple deck being said number of seconds into New Canberra Day being 1,578 seconds, being 12:28 am KBTS and 3:28 PM electricity and 48 seconds. However, they were later caught by the police seconds after as they get instant karma. While I had to head downstairs as I head to Elito Digi Arena Esports Gamer Battle Arena as Optic Elito to take on against VTP in special sponsored match in which gets moved to Elito Digi Arena due to presentation on newest operating system TD. OS, V3, and ZOS 26, taking longer than expected in which is concluded. They would have competed at Elite Ride Trek Center during RDK GR Expo 2025. This is VWGT hosts are en route from Elite Trek Center to Elite Plaza Center, however taking longer than expected due to heavy traffic. This, as we must remind, there is an esports match to occur at top of the hour in a few moments, as this being the ZGR Z Fuel Canberra Elite Battle 2025, EY 1025, KP20 in Best of 9 in the hit Cambodian video game first competed today in Liquipedia Esports. This being mashup of Counter Blitz Striker 2 and Avio Counterpart Counter Strike 2 and Halo, and cannibalized counterparts with characters from the original 7 TV shows of Cambodia. This being Counter Kalos Striker, with first letters of 3 words of 2 of letter K and third with letter A. While we wait for trios to arrive, we must hand off to Elito GRESP Game Day live today in Cast until the host returns. While we want to bring follow-up on Triple Deck Act, it has resulted in RDK 3000 Tristar TV service auto-censor, as they terminate the VWGT Casters for some ironic reason. They told Aero and Vero to terminate VWGT Cast and preempt VWG2N as we must comply, as we must pass on a programming notice that today's VWGT needs to conclude and VWG2N to be preempted as the match to continue for the remainder of day as the hosts to be reassigned for Elito GRESP. This is they to be back for tomorrow's episode. Auto-censor kicked it in as we do apologize, as we learn. Blamed on banned word that start with wheel being all name of Liquipedia in accordance to our policy, as the system switched to RDK TV Cast. In this case, as we can't revert due to policy, RDK 3000 Tristar today is next until Aero News 5 o'clock, then airing to 24, then RDK TV Cast to 10 o'clock newscast. I am Andrew James signing off as we see you tomorrow as we hand off to Marky Crypta and Chris K. Crypta from Studio RD.
Thank you, Andrew James. This as it results in code VRD and ARD as we welcome to viewers on RDK TV and those on Aerovision and Vero Television.
This is RDK 3000 TriStar Today Blitz Edition starts now, in a 2-hour edition. I am Chris K. Crypter.
And I am Marky Crypter, broadcasting live and direct from RDK 3000 TriStar RDK Newsline News Center over at RDK 3000 TriStar Main HQ in Elite City, Federal District, Elitopia.
We are powered up always on all RDK networks, television, radio, streaming and more. The latest at this hour.
Mickey D. Cryptor, Mickey Daniels, your ex-girlfriend is permanently banned from Elito Plaza Center for violation of indecency exposure within Elito Plaza Center complex. However, gets arrested by Elite City Police as she engaged sex with a male on a flatbed of your 2025 Flex Raptor PHEV Range Extender Series hybrid midsize pickup truck, in which you and your colleagues stopped them before police arrive, but also your brother Max SD Cryptor's dog?
Yes, King Richard Jinx star as my truck, actually is 2026. EY1026 Flex Raptor Range Extender Series HEV Plug-in Hybrid PHEV Quad Motor Shaker Truck is a no-sex zone, as this being truck for RDK 3000 TriStar use after hauling supplies from Optic Elito, including some of my relatives in the said esports team. Also for personal use once I clock out late afternoon. Max SD Cryptor must also add, this is my dog named Rexer came out of the car window of my car from passenger side as I slam on the brakes, as the dog, being a male canine, climbing up Shaker onto his hair and jumping onto the duos onto flatbed of Shaker truck and snarled at the female. We must begin with a programming alert off the top. Today's VWGT episode must have to conclude, and tonight's VWG2N episode preempted as per RDK TVSB's call to Arrow and Vero after Code T event at 14:54 and 58 RDK ELC on Kalaki 0 Dozinal 1 deck or 22, Binal deck DOS deck or 130. 054 or 04 DOS 6 and 58 or 4 DOS deck seconds Kiplian, where the last 3 digits on the Kiplian duodecimal time clock as triple deck as in Kiplian as it have no X as it's triple T, in TD Elito as triple A. Canberra Modern as triple Z as in Canberra Legacy as triple X as the subject. Triple X refers to 18 plus NSFW content when topless female exposed breasts onto cam that sets off RDK TV auto censor. However, split second prior, deterrent was imposed on VWGT sent. Arrow and Vero would have airy sports match, but thanks to auto censor on graphic on Optic Elito and GR countdown shows Optic with K and the W word being alt name of Elitopia, and which is disallowed to be shown in accordance to Elitotronics Telemedia and RDK 3000 TriStar's policy, in which result in auto censor and feed switch to RDK TV, resulting in codes ARD and VRD. As a result, RDK TSRT Blitz gets aired in Silum Cast on Arrow and Vero to the late afternoon newscast, also for RDK TSRT Prime tonight. This is the duos engaged in hardcore unprotected oral sex on flatbed of Shaker truck, 2026 Flex Raptor PHEV Series Hybrid Range Extender midsize pickup truck parked outside EPC owned by Mickey D. Cryptor, in which he and his colleagues with assistance from Max SD Cryptor's dog and the police brought it to swift end, after male saying code TE stunt as he said offensive remark, then massaging and licking her breasts. The sex acts was broadcast live after report was interrupted on Xenopolian TV channel on Sports News channel on watch party of TDSC 25 at Elito Plaza Center in Elite City, at Sports Bar, but was focusing on esports VATP versus Optic Elito prior hand, as the channel owned by XBM gets shut down as with the company in which the content offends the audience.
Whoa! This explains the channel getting the boot from Elito Cable and TD Vision and Xenopolian counterpart Xenocable. This is I do see on the said channel. What is this? Channel seized by Kiplian Force from Kiplian Kingdom KBE 227 Uniworld?
This is since 1500 hours RDK ELC. Kiplian Guard from Kiplian Kingdom KBE 227 takes over from TDTCA and sees the channel in abuse to Kiplian duodecimal timekeeping over triple deck act as it to go off the air in the next Kiplian day, midnight Kiplian being 1400 hours RDK ELC Sunday July 20th, 2025. 75.0 EMT, 1800 TRX Nilotas Zayden 19th. EY1025 ED200 tomorrow afternoon with Kiplian cursed to broadcaster in Xenopolis City and the faculty cursed to death and headquarters cursed to destruction in less than 23 hours. This being 1300 hours Xenopolis City on 20th as RDK 3000 TriStar Xenopolia Unit Division was notified. We have the latest later on in the show.
This could impact one trending soccer player, with relative of TV network XBM. From FC Xenopolis City as said player has been benched and to face suspension in an abundance of caution at end of match, as we to report on the soccer match later on as we focus to esports and gaming as Optic Elito takes on against BATP in esports match gamer battle in the Z Fuel ZGR Canbor Elito battle.
Itrexer also note, for you Ryo S. Cryptor, if this were to occur in Ryo DAW's timekeeping type H or D, it would be a different ball game. Yes, Rex Z Cryptor, as it occurred at 14:54 and 58, being 18:54 and 58 UTC, occurred at hour 1 Gros 6, Donatum Dec DAS L, Tim L DAS 0 RDZT Type H, and Trice 9 Gros 5 dozen 5 Time L Gros 6 DAS 2 RDZT Type D and T minus 5 minutes 2 seconds, or 302 seconds, 2 Gros 1 DAS 2 in dozenal. Being 3.49 Dino Choice, 3,495.37 Trocants, 8 Decinites 38.88 Decions, 1 Mos L Zot 62 Tims, 6 Mos 5 DAS 9 Zot 1 5 Timals, being 1454 RDK ELC in 58 seconds, 78.8 EMT and 17 Kino Choice, 1891 TRX and 61 Decions on Saturday, July 19, 2025 and Pentas Gita 18th, EY 1025 ED 199. Hex SEI Swift Brav Trirax 20th TXY 25, Prisen Caesal 14th RYE 65, CZN 2nd, RY.DZY 4 DAS 7 or 55, Ryao EQ 2 DAS 7 or 31, at 788 Deci and 171, 752, or 7, 4 DAS 4 Sign and Dec DAS Dec Binals or 3 Deci Newts 611, this is its close to abuse to Ryo DAS. Timekeeping Type H on the primal clock but occurring late by 7 DAS 4 Zot Dec 6 Timals in primal, being 88.88 in base 10, missed by over 2.5 seconds, 2.572 to the millisecond, or 29.76 Trocants. Yes, as if this occurred just close to 3 Kino Choice sooner, it would be different ballgame, compared to 1 Gros 4 DAS 6 DAS Zot 5 9 Tims, or 146.48 in base 10 close to 146 or 1 Gros 4 DAS 6, 1 Donatum 2.5 Tims, or half Trice, 6 Gros 1 DAS 2 Dec 6 Timals in primal, 25.430 seconds. Or 29.433 Kino Choice or 294.33 Trocants, 7 Deci Newts 6.40 Decions over the triple deck Tims in clock mode for TGM and quad deck as well in reference to RDZT Type D as she went off shot on TGM clock. However, Ryo Zion in Wine Hills, Rainbow, Dogeland, Robloxia, has messaged me, Trexer, that in addition she's on the money at triple deck plus 1 Mos seconds into the hour being 1 Mos Dec Gros Dec DAS Dec being 3,298 seconds into the hour as that was Xylem cast on Rat's Vision, uncensored in which offends many in Dogeland and Nyanland as the channel gets off the air. Terminated by Robloxian Moderation Council Authority as with the faculty for sexual consent, sexual content, and adult content. But thank God for auto-censor on RDK TV and deterrent on Vero/Arrow and Xylem Cast on Nyan TV, Doge Vision, and Nyan Cat's Vision in which Xylem Cast was terminated.
Yes, Trexer as I Swift learn, on broadcast on the radio on Swift Radio from Doge City it cuts to music from sister network Doge Radio then the host saying announcement stating the Xylem Cast gets halted. Then follow-up update on the TV network and Xenopolia shut down and the lewd acts on flatbed of truck by the host of Swift Radio as he verbally discussed the subject but rephrased and reworded due to subjects that he can't say on air due to broadcast law. And TV network seized by Kiplion Force in which I did some research, action at 1400 hours, 2 o'clock p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Good thing last Saturday's soccer match ends up in 2-2 draw. As yesterday's soccer match occurring at 1:36 p.m. yesterday after B then sprinkler delay as Blitzadino Zenuli Blitzers takes on against FC Xenopolis City and Stadium and Extreme West Blitzadino Zenuli ends up short as once clock strikes 2 the faculty gets cursed to death and XBM and west side of Xenopolis City cursed to destruction as it imploded, not exploded, and the soccer team cursed to death, including the player in which the suspension was turned down by the league as the players were cursed to death but did a lot more. This requires evacuation of stadium as the stadium gets cursed to death as it did not implode as it explodes with a huge boom and which affected one area in Elite City, Elitopia in which result in 2025 Elitopian Open Tennis Tournament to be cancelled. As the tennis stadium gets destroyed but no one was hurt and the soccer tournament suspended to the following Friday and Thursday. Oh my! I do learn, one of the matches on par with Nyan City Nyan Cats vs Doge City Doggers at 2 o'clock in afternoon on Friday, on Christmas in July. On the 25th. This being 6th day where Alptronic City Ninjas take on against Silver City SC and Alptronic City and Elite City Firestorm taking on against Rio City Meowths, named after a Pokemon at Zendome and Elite City. This is NCN and DCD compete at Doge Stadium in Doge City. But this concerns another league being Nyan Doge Premier League 2025. What the? No wonder the radio station plays Christmas music, as it must be Christmas in July, as I must shift into gear and drive off as I glance at the infotainment. This is I must head the Blitz route to Doge City after noting the route via a friend of mine yesterday, as I am going posted speed limit of 40 km per hour to become 80 at Doge Route 5 to the Rex Peaks, where my friends do Doge drift tandems in some JDM cars, including Radeon and his Toyota GR Yaris.
Yup, this is it sure is a nice day but breezy up here. This is Raymond Danzian to head inside and head to ground floor after having late lunch at Alito Tower, also some shopping at the boutiques, at lower floor. As I do hear Christmas music due to Christmas in July at times on the loudspeaker, however interrupted by fire alarm test announcement voice on repeat and fire bells ringing as the staff told me of fire alarm test being held quarterly. However, fire bells silenced in past few minutes at 2:59.
I, Steve Zylostar, must note, this is I to head downtown as I refused Raymond Dancion's challenge for race because I must have to head to RDK 3000 TriStar main headquarters to see Trexer, Rex Z Cryptor, Rex Zylostar and Zine Z Cryptor, Zine Zylostar and Trexy Z Cryptor, Trexy Zylostar. For subjects in relation to Happy New Month Trex Bravo Quad Trex TX.Y25 on evening on the 29th. In addition to subjects for remainder of the month toward early next month, including subjects on first 3 days of August in relation to IEMCCOLEOH25 and the subject in progress in Altverse in Arabiland on Esports World Cup, including Call of Duty, as I hope the Optics in which compete at CDL as Optic Longhorn, as they defeat B Surge to win the CDL 25 Grand Finals in that verse in Kitchippy, Hog Heartland, Mapleland, but named in RD, Kitchener, Ontario, Canada close to month ago of 29th of the previous month of June 2025. I do note, the finals on the subject in event, part of subject as whole at what I call, Olympics of Esports, on 27.
Yes, Steve Zylostar as I Scott Elitastar must note that I have posted daily summary of the action on my blog in addition to other events on the ESPWC 25. I had to convert the calendar from Hydri lunar calendar to the civil calendar after consultation with the Imam at the mosque I depart and heading to my house to talk to Alex Elitastar on the matter and then heading back downtown. This is the final of Call of Duty competition event in ESPWC 25 on 2nd of Safar, 1447 AH being July 27th, 2025 on a Sunday, being Pride is Jida 26th, UI 1025, ED 207 is today is final day of Muharram to become 1st of Safar after sundown Muharram 30th.
I knew it, Muharram to end around start Xeno Christmas. I do note, Steve Zylostar, but for the love of God, please move your vehicle immediately. Your car is parked at Mark Z Cryptor, Mark Zaniel's residence, as his sister Catherine Zaniels told me. Trexy Z Cryptor, relative Trexy Zylostar, to tell you to move the vehicle.
Yes, as I Catherine Zaniels must tell you, Steve Zylostar, the Zaniels to await a delivery truck for furniture for the living room including new sofa.
I am Mark Z Cryptor, Mark Zaniels, Raptor from RDK 3000 TriStar. This is the delivery truck to arrive any minute, so please move said car as refusal result in a tow and 40 LEO fine plus impound fee.
I do apologize, as I am heading to my car now and move it.
SE Stars Plays must note, this concerns the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 discussed at ESPWC, that you Trexer, Trexy Z, and Steve Z as I check the schedule and scores, in playoffs, 100 Thieves and Optics tomorrow at 2:30 in quarterfinals. That is banned in telebroadcast due to Mickey's Law over esports team named Thieves, to deter support to pedo and respect the furries and diapers over subject back on May 9, 2024, but the ones allowed for the other three, Heretics and winner of Falcon/Breach at 10 o'clock in the morning, KOI and winner of Omit/Phase at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Surge and 5 Fears at 11:30 a.m. Semifinals Alpha at 10 o'clock a.m. Sunday 27th and Semifinals Bravo at 11:30, third place 1 o'clock in afternoon and Grand Finals Sunday 27th after 2:30 p.m. after introduction and opening ceremony. Oh my! Omid and FaZe in Group Delta in Decider match since 2:30 this afternoon is with Breach and Falcons as VGF as VWGT showcases the Breach and Falcons in the VWGT cast and watch party in this verse at the EDA.
I do heard of subject, Scott Elitistar. This is I marquee crypter to monitor the VWGT cast as RDK TSRT goes into ad break. The VWGT cast has started after 15:12, 80.0 EMT, 1920 TRX. Razzle, I note the headline slide on RDK TV, and confirmed by Elito Speed, the ERC to be held next month, and prioritize on electrified rally racing cars. This is among the said cars from Flex Motors, Connex, Trex, Swifter, and most importantly the Z Corsa RS. Yes, Dazzle, this is it to start out west as it to make its way out east but also to go north. This is concerning the GR talk, due to the VWGT cast, that gets moved from VWGT to RDK 3000 TriStar today as I tuned said TV to RDK TV from VWGT showcasing esports in VWGT cast. Yes, as I maxis of and learn. This is the folks compete at ESPWC 25 and COD, BO6 being talk of GR talk with SE Stars plays. Correct, Maxis of N, as I Razzle learn, playoffs tomorrow and Sunday. Yes Razzle as I Dazzle must caution, Optics and 100 Thieves tomorrow 14:30, that is outright banned for broadcast, due to Mickey's Law, as if VWGT were to showcase it in VWGT cast the show to end and VWG2N preempted, and Sunday's production of VWG2T and VWG2N banned. With RDK TV Asylum cast for weekend in replacement. If that gets airing in Bloxland, then the TV network and faculty would get oofed, terminated for pedo encouragement. Scott E, hold for a moment, as we must tell you something important that the VWGT hosts have since came across Studio RDE and RDK Newsline but went behind camera, as they have since went to RDK TSR exit GR to the alternate entrance to Elito DG Arena via Elito Plaza Center. This is producer Derek V. Crypter told the hosts. Robert James has said, the VWGT host to report from the EDA during the watch party of one of the matches we discussed with SE Stars plays. If anything changes, we will let ya know.
Oh my!
I'm afraid to interrupt SE Stars plays, as we must pause for now, until after ad break.
Stand by for a programming alert.
Have to pass you a programming alert. Today's episode of VWGT needs to conclude. This as we previously reported, VWGT hosts en route to EDA as they went through RDK Newsline behind cam. As we learn now, they were told that they get reassigned to cover for Elito GRESP and relay the matches we discussed in during VWGT.
The VWGT cast becomes Elito GRESP Silimcast until end of the match and then highlights to fill in for time until Vero News and Aero News 5 o'clock. The hosts to return for tonight's VWG2N on Vero and Aero at 1800 RDK ELC and airing in Silimcast on RDK TV at 1830 RDK ELC with pause for RDK TSRT Prime 2000.
As a result, RDK TSRT newscast to be extended by 60 minutes to be a 2.5-hour newscast since VWGT Silimcast was paused due to esports and VWGT cast since 1430 RDK ELC as the Silimcast must halt. We to be taking a programming I am Mark E. Cryptor and this is Chris K. Cryptor as RDKTSRT. Will be right back.
I marked do note, the match gets interesting by the passing minute. This is it's the grand final of the tournament without team vitality, as Vitality gets shut out by Moose twice in a row, just yesterday in semis after defeating Furia in quarterfinals 2-1 on the first. As Navi defeats Mongols in 2 straight sets, but gets defeated by Team Spirit 2-1. This is Spirit takes on against Muz, as I am undecided whether to root for in the finals, but I heard there's another esports event, continuing at 2 o'clock today in Championship Sunday in Halo, HCL Major SLC 25, this is I do learn, in Champ Bracket.
I do agree on Mark says, as the other esports event starts at 2 as I never heard of Halo, as you might be unsure of the video game competed in esports.
Yes, as at least I do know on Counter-Strike 2 and Robloxian variant.
For some reason, VWGT started early at 9 o'clock but is not aired on Doge Vision 7 until 1 o'clock p.m.
Yes, Rex however to be aired on Doge TV at 12 o'clock in less than 45 minutes.
Yes, however you should have get out your phone or tablet, it gets streaming online.
Yes, Renee, as I Danielle glances at Rio Zion's tablet screen, he is watching VWGT from Vero feed via live streaming via provider as I note his Pocketmate. At times on RDK 3000 TriStar television service via livestream, believed to be Elite City feed. While in video call to Rio S. Cryptor from Galeland, Trexy Z Cryptor, Trexer and Zen Z Cryptor from Elite City, Federal District, Elitopia at Elito G R Bar at Elito Plaza Center minus Trexy as Trexy is at RDK TSR main HQ.
Yes, this is TrexEZ Cryptor said, the matches for the other events starting at 1400 hours, in order, Optic Gaming vs Shopify Rebellion in upper final, then FaZe Clan vs Space Station Gaming in lower round 4, lower final after that of losing team of upper final and winner of lower round 4. Then the grand final of winners of finals of respective brackets.
When does the finals take place in Halo Majors?
Since the match based on duration of the one's prior hand, would say late afternoon toward evening like dinner time, 5 o'clock-ish or 6 o'clock?
Swift, according to Schedule 1-5, to occur at 18:30 as you mixed up on sorting order of the first 2 matches, FaZe and Space Station in elimination semifinal at 1400, Optics vs Shop Rebel at 15:30 in winners final, elimination finals at 1700 and grand finals at 18:30.
Whoops, I must have double check on the schedule as I have to retype and edit the agenda, also reset my alarms on clock app for the first 2 matches. Must correct, FaZe and Space Station first at 2 o'clock then Optics and Rebel at 3:30 then lower finals at 5 o'clock then grand finals at 6:30.
Since you hadn't ordered at Doge GR Bar, I urge you Swift, Rio Zion to head to Elite City, Federal District, Elitopia as you must bring the right Trex crew along. As for you Rio S. Cryptor, you must also report to Elite City as well. Report by 1500 as it's important and urgent on subject because the esports team Doge Rebellion from Doge City is visiting Elite City for match tomorrow and another one later in the week, if one condition is met. Doge Rebellion is at Elito Plaza Center to spectate on the watch party at 1400 at EDA, as you must meet your pals at Elito GR Bar.
I must note the result, Spirit wins 3 in a row against Moz, Map 1, 13-7 win in Mirage, Map 2, 13-11 in Ancient, Map 3, 13-6 in Nuke. Map 4 of Overpass and Map 5 of Train Not Needed, as Team Spirit wins the IEM Colo 25 Grand Finals, Spirit taking home 40% of prize pool of 1 mil blocks dollars, of 400 grand, Trexer, what is rate of blocks dollar to Elio?
2 blocks or universal $56 to Elio, so in this case, 156,250 Elios out of 390,625 Elios, being 625,000 TD sickles out of 1,562,500 sickles is 1 Elio equal to 4 sickles in 10.8 million Canberra credits out of 27 million Canberra credits on approximate. Take note. A Canberra credit was used to be Canberra coin before KB.P19, or 2024, EY1024, TX.Y24, RY.E64 and gets pegged with Diancie and Gemsy of 1 Gemsy to 40 credits as 1000 credits or 25 Gemsies equal 37 universal dollar. Being about 14 Elios 45 or 51 sickles 81 and a quarter newts.
2024? In the prior year, as I do note 1 Diancie Gemsy equal to about 2 sickles 30 and 57.8 Elios and being $1.48 being a cost of a 24 fluid ounce. 710 mm bottle of soda being cola zero sugar, but it's not Pepsi nor Coca-Cola but Doge Cola. However, I do note on the sign, just above the fire alarm pull station, I wonder on the maximum penalty and fines for false fire alarm as per regional law, 5,000 Elios? That is $12,800. This compared to $4,000 in Dogeland including Doge City.
Yes, plus up to 10 years in jail and indefinite ban from RDK TSRS-Libment in Alito Plaza Center as false fire alarms are serious as they waste resources to emergency personnel. Thus fire alarms are to be used in event of a real fire emergency. However, the alarm company does routine tests and we do routine drills.
However, I do note a new pull station and fire bells, also the new sounders on other end as I do note one of it being fire, and what with the 2 others?
This being police alarm and which being lockdown alarm when there's a shooting, via the blue sounder, and the yellow one being tornado alarm but also used for other form of severe weather as that gets used when MSE issues tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning level 3, destructive or extreme wind warning.
Severe thunderstorm warning level 3 destructive for hail over 5 to 8 centimeters?
Actually more for wind for gusts 130 km per hour or 78 kN per choi, or higher.
This being 80 to 81 miles per hour. Do you fellows also do lockdown and severe weather drills?
Yes, as we do it monthly, as with fire drills, and shelter-in-place drills, also civil defense drills quarterly.
Civil defense drills? I do note in case of air raid or missile attack, as there must be sirens that sound in case of attack or emergency, as I do see some electronic warning sirens also play the Westminster chimes for half past in time signal. 775?
Actually, the electronic chimes are originated from different loudspeakers, from various S-Libment for time signal. Some play the music but must halt in case the emergency sirens sound even if it's used for test as sirens gets tested monthly.
Yes, Trexer, as for you Rio Zion. The siren test is this afternoon at 15:12, 80.00 EMT. 1920 TRX at top of Crown 8. This managed by Elite City Emergency Management Office and Emergency Management of Elitopia. The TD alarm will also undergo a monthly test prior hand, as with the Elitopian Emergency Broadcast Alerting System for monthly test. The SAME codes to be RMT, for required monthly test.
This is iTrexer already notified the Retrex crew of EAS and siren test. Ichigo, I do note it's more for emergency management of Elitopia and regional, province and city/county/municipality counterparts. It's also for what I call BOSI awareness for disaster response and mitigation. This is the BOSI siren and loudspeakers to be tested. Yes, as I do note, procedures for earthquake slightly differs but follows similar rule, drop, cover, hold on. But in Taxico, why on Terra do they use evacuation rather than drop, cover, hold? Yes, however the earthquake detection network is similar from Nippon Land and Taxico, but the alerting method differs between the chimes and the dreaded audible when on TV, radio, and outdoor warning sirens. Yes, Scott ESK however in Cambodian, uses both audibles but for KBBS TV emergency alert on television in addition to radio counterpart. However, I had to page you to report to HQ but you are not being called in to work. This for briefing of event to occur in the week ahead other than Xenopolian New Year.
I Robert Trex Blitz do note, the upcoming match, Shop Rebel against Optics after FaZe vs SSG, as I learn, it could be sooner as I do note the FaZe are doing good over the SSG. As I hope the FaZe to do it 3 in a row as they done it twice. However, although not reported on Alito News 24 Deck Mill, RDK TV and VWGT also Alito Speed or JinxNet, today's sim racing matches gets postponed to tomorrow at 3 due to active watch party of IRL Esports, as this was first posted by social media directly from the Blitz eRev. This is I am at the Blitz in which I am awaiting the watch party of sim racing, in which I learn to be watch party of soccer at 3. This is I Love Soccer, or Association Football, as one of the matches to be held where I visit back in 2024, EY 1024, TX.Y24, RY.E64, Costa Aero, previously under Trexland Robloxian control, now under Xenopolium control, at Costa Stadium taking on against one of the Ultimopian soccer team based in Ultimate City. This being FC Ultimate City at Costa Aerotropics as Elite City Firestorm takes today off.
Whoa. Oh my god. Trex alarm. Trex alarm. Trex alarm. Trex alarm. Trex alarm. Today's Blitz E-Rev Esports Sim Racing ERB Tour 2025. EY1025. TX.Y25. RY.E65 is postponed 24 hours toward 1500 tomorrow. 79.1 EMT. 1900 TRX next grand and move to Elitosphere. Today's Blitz E-Rev Esports Sim Racing ERB Tour 2025. EY1025. TX.Y25. RY.E65 is postponed 24 hours toward 1500. 79.1 EMT. 1900 TRX tomorrow. Monday, August 4th, 2025 and Charities. Theta 3rd. EY1025. ED215. And move to Elitosphere. Trexer. iTrexEZ Cryptor must note this may yield alarm, however do not, repeat, do not sound the Trex siren as the folks are alerted via devices and RDK 3000 TriStar automated telephone system but for special purpose to the Trex friends, etc.
Okay, however do you give permission prior hand from those from the administration office including head leader Ryan M. Cryptor?
Yes. This is the Trex siren must be silent, due to the emergency warning siren test, now scheduled at 15:30.
Trexy, you sure it's at 15:30, 3:30?
Yes, Rio Zion.
I do note as I learn, Thunderscope storm chasing to be among those participating according to report on car radio as Mark Zaniels, Mark Z. Cryptor who's off duty told me. It's located at intersection on Canbertronics Street adjacent to Alito Burgers as I walk to Alito Plaza Center side and head outside main entrance to Alito Plaza Center and walk to the Establishment on foot. This is I do note the weather radar and the electronic and Thunderbolt siren in which these sirens also to be, what the? Who drives the green coupe license plate rebellion?
Konnichiwa. It is me, Haruki Alito Starkip. Bear in mind I to talk to Ichigo, Kenka, Ilitatina and Trax Rex as I have arrived in past few minutes.
Okay, have a nice time, as I to head to Thunderscope.
Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. Hello Haruki, you normally ride your electric motorbike, where is the said motorbike? It's at home being charged, low battery as I switched to car as I unplugged this car and plugged in the bike using the same EV charger, however this is a PHEV with twin turbocharged inline 4 and powerful electric motors, Ichigo Ilito Starkip. Engine displacement 2.0 liter multi-point injection IVVT, DOHC 16 valve. Battery capacity 36 kilowatt hours. Electric assisted turbochargers? Yes. I Scott Ilito Starkip also note, this being same engine and electric motors also turbochargers and battery on my Hachi but yours being a coupe. Yes, this is I, hold on, the Westminster chimes, playing on my phone, not for time signal, but for important update to esports being HCS Major SLC 25. This means one of the match gets concluded, assuming being phase and space station, this is I to grab out. Haruki, IREX Trax Zion to tell you result, Space Station Gaming gets eliminated, phase wins in 3 straight sets in a row, 3-0. Shop Rebel and Optics is up next after 1500 hours but hopefully by Choi 80. How do you know, Trax Rex? Are you following esports match? No. It was briefly mentioned in Alito News 24 Deck Mill Silum cast on RDK TV during VWGT cast before interrupted for news flash for sim racing matches in Blitz ERV rescheduled to next day. See, Trax Rex, this is I Stefan watch Alito Speed, this is La Partido de Deportes Electrónicos en una competition de simulación de carreras de deportes de motor virtuals is postponed until tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. as IAMD Trax Rex are watching TV on Pocket Mates.
This is we want to recap the match for Space Station Gaming and FaZe Clan as the correspondent on Alito News 24 Deck Mill was going to deliver report but we had to interrupt for news flash on the Blitz E-Rev Sim racing matches rescheduled as that needed immediate and urgent attention. This is for the final score of the elimination semifinal. FaZe Clan wins 3-0 as they advance to the elimination final to occur after winners final of Shopify Rebellion and Optic Gaming after 1500 RDK ELC and a round start of Choi 80. To repeat, FaZe Clan defeats Space Station Gaming in 3 straight sets. Winners final of Shopify Rebellion and Optic Gaming after 1500 RDK ELC and a round start of Choi 80.
We would have spectate the esports and watch party. Chris K. Crypter mentions in RDK TSRT flash update, after 3, but there is a soccer match to occur at 3 in Tronic Diamond Soccer Club 2025, EY 1025, Ultimate City FC taking on against Costa Aero Tropics in Costa Aero, Beachy, Xenopolia, at Costa Stadium. As there's a watch party of soccer at Alito Costa while we have our meals, as there's a Spanish broadcast on Alito Latino television. Yes, this is we must head to Alito Costa immediately. Okay, Trax Rex, this is for you Haruki and Ichigo, you to come too but we to stop at Sushi Bar first adjacent to Alito Costa at Alito Plaza Center. Bear in mind, ELB All-Stars baseball game is tonight at 7 in Reeker. Elite City Swifters Rocky Daniels number 88 wins last night's home run derby in which was delayed due to fire alarm turned out false alarm, then automatic lawn sprinklers, then bees but no weather delay. I am Mark E. Crypter, Mark Elitastar. The VWGT cast has since concluded since the match is over as we monitored VWGT feed throughout, as the VWGT hosts and the panel discuss the round table of the match that has concluded. However, due to time, we are not returning to the VWGT Xylem cast as we must pass you a programming notice. As we have an RDK 3000 TriStar television service programming notice to pass to you, this is remainder of this hour's edition of VWGT needs to be preempted. This is we cannot go back to VWGT for the remainder of the hour, EEP. We must tell you that today's Xylem cast of VWGT to conclude as per RDK TVSP's discretion as we will never return to VWGT after RDK 3000 TriStar today. This is RDK 3000 TriStar today to be a 2-hour newscast to begin at the top of the hour at 1500 hours RDK ELC. Over features to be topic for second hour of the show. This as we also learn, tonight's VWG2N to be preempted, as well. To repeat, VWGT Xylem cast to conclude and tonight's VWG2N Xylem cast to be preempted on RDK 3000 TriStar television services per RDK TVSP's production due to features in relation to ELB All-Stars game and the countdown to the Xenopolian New Year prep. This is the Cilium cast to return tomorrow on RDK 3000 TriStar television service.
This is RDK 3000 TriStar today is up next at the top of the hour. I am Chris K. Crypter.
And I am Mark E. Crypter as we see you at top of the hour as we hand off to Trex Vision 8 Xylem cast for Trex 8 news joined in progress after ad break.
I swift do wonder what happens to Doge Rebellion as they to compete against Team Retrex on Friday once DR returns to Elite City, as after next stop from Alptronics City being Canbor D City, as I do note subject in which occurred during VWGT airing but some deterrent kicked in seconds prior. At 2:33 p.m. and 50 seconds Elite City time being 23:33 and 50 kbts as deterrent kicked in at 2:33 and 48, then cut to Marquee Cryptor as RDK TVSP takes over for coverage and air RDK TSRT start early on RDK TV, Arrow and Vero and VWGT episode and pause until 4 o'clock?
There has been intense exposure on Triple Deck on Canbordian's Vanillion duodecimal countdown to midnight kbts being 1500 hours RDKELC. When topless female exposed breasts onto cam during interview with DR player with freelance correspondent. As the DR Esports player then looked at the breasts and said code TE stunt, then massaged, and licked her breasts in which went outside onto vehicle, stripped off their clothes as they were completely nude and did unprotected hardcore oral sex inside the vehicle as they did sex until 24:26 kbts. 15:26 RDKELC in 10 seconds. As they did action starting at 14:36 and 10:40 minutes in duration and was broadcast live as they had the video camera broadcasting on Canbordian TV but independent in which gets the boot from Canber Cable and TV network shut down by KBBS TV order. Zaylan Relixina gets disgraced and punishes the DR player and most ironically the entire roster, as they gets punished for abuse for Canbordian Spinellian dozenal time keeping in Triple Deck Act. As they gets detained then one gets jailed then rest gets sent back to Robloxia in which the RO mods terminate the remaining roster as the esports team HQ in Doge City also gets oofed, terminated for sexual content, sexual consent, and adult content. But their ally is making stop to Elite City today, this as the match Doge Rebellion against Team Retrex is not cancelled but undergo opponent swap, in replacement of DR to be team from Doge City, Doge Gamer Force, or DGF. The show never resumed as the VWGT gets to conclude for afternoon as Trex 8 news aired in Siloam cast after 1600 hours RDK to Arrow Vero news airing half hour early at 16:30 as VWG2N aired 30 minutes early at 17:30.
Oh my god! Doge Gamer Force. That is my favorite esports team. You said they to take on against Team Retrex on Friday at 1500 hours, 3 o'clock p.m.?
It's get rescheduled to evening within same day to 2000 hours, 00.0 EMT, 0000 TRX Friday evening, August 8th, 2025 and by ADAS, Theta 8th, EY 1025, ED 220.
Oh my god. Oh boy. Esports. Friday night gamer night. I must have to update my planner.
Ryo S. Cryptor, you heard what Zen said, this Friday evening. Start of Biatas, Wednesday, Kwasan, Septida Trias I sign day, 5:04 on Hotel Psi, at 2000 hours, at hour 2 DAWs, Donatum, and Trice 0, Crown 0, Kron and Minero 0, Choi and Desi Newt 0. 2000 hours confirmed, this is today is the 6th, to be 48 hours after the Xenopolian New Year in which is good timing and on a Friday night, so it to be epic. I Mark Z Cryptor, Mark Zaniels, Raptor Wonder. For you Zen Z Cryptor, when was this news announced on rescheduling?
At 1840, as it was first reported on VWGT and RDK Newsline, then the rest.
Yes, as I Trek CZ Cryptor learn if it first from the Doge Gamer Force esports player at 1830 then I messaged Zine of the developments in which would have waited until right time after the media announcement to tell to Swift in which gets Trexer and Ryo S Cryptor's attention. This is the media and public was informed but Trexer and Ryo with Swift was doing setup and checks for the Trex Siren at the time, for sound off for the Xenopolian New Year.
No offense, as I Mickey D Cryptor, Mickey Daniels, Shaker learn, Doge Gamer Force may get investigated into for contributions for Doge Rebellion's acts as an abundance of caution. The new esports team gets launched as the firm who launched Jinx Esports Gaming in 2016, part ways from EXG. And launched the new team as they can't go with JXEG once again as they call it as DG Gamer Force X as they say, they to take over to compete Team Retrex if anything happens to Doge Gamer Force.
Whoa,
oh my god.
Oh my god.
Doge Gamer Force terminated for contributions to obscene stunt by Doge Rebellion in Canbor D City in Triple Deck Act.
Well, Doge Gamer Force X has been carbed. Good thing for DG Gamer Force X as they noted it. as they say, they to take over to compete against Team Retrex on Friday evening. This resulted in Trex Alarm, Trex Siren, and RDK TSR Code R and Roll Call Alarm, being Reveille Alarm. RDK TSR Code R. Ilitatina, Kenka, we must report to work at RDK TSR HQ immediately as the Trex Siren is also fired, meaning Trex Alarm is also active.
We must postpone friendly race until next week. Trex Alarm went off as we must make legal U-turn at roundabout and head to Alito Plaza Center we just passed in past 500 plus meters.
Since Trex are to sound the Trex Siren on top of RDK Tower for the Xenopolian New Year, I mark young Trex to remotely fire the Swift Siren and the horn at the Swift Retrex Clocks Tower in Dodge City, Rainbow, Dogeland. RBF remotely and run command on my device to do just so automatically to send uplink to the system to the Swift Retrex Clocks Tower. Also fire up the NYE system, as it is also double duty as my residence, as I am Clockmaster of the Clock Tower. As you and I recently moved to Doge City from Wine Hills.
I do note, however, what happened to your 2025 Nimbus ZT38E EFEV SUV?
At home, my sister Sarah is now primary owner of said car, as I drive the said car, being a sport hot hatch, being the one I own after car auction in Doge City, as I was highest bidder of $200,000 or about 80,000 Elios, for those wondering on how I get the said money. This is I was competing in chess tournament with fellow from Nyan City in late July as the prize pool was $5 million or roughly 2 million Elios, as I won the chess tournament winning $1 million or about 400,000 Elitopian Elios. About 1.6 million TD sickles as runner-up earns 400 grand in dollars, and the remaining earns a cash prize, with a guaranteed $1,000 for those who place last.
This explains you have $800,000 remaining or about 312,500 Elios. Is it disputed to the bank?
Yes, this says for you. Beside, who are you?
I am Julian Rossakyard, as I reside in Elita City, as this is Wawatuki and Crinkles beside me.
This explains the 1995 Honda de Sol Asai trim, the 2010 Mazda 6 and the 2025 Flex C-Trex Hybrid S parked to my hatch.
I Crinkles do note, your car is parked next to my car, as my car is the 2010 Mazda 6 in black cherry metallic. It had a 2.5-liter inline-4 but engine swapped to the 2.3-liter inline-4 MZR, L3, VDT from the Mazda Speed 3. But sadly, front-wheel drive. This is I added the aftermarket HEV with 2 e-motors powering the rear wheels with battery and the generator in the front also acting as starter motor with conventional starter and alternator as backup.
Whoa! This being EAWD with front engine drive?
Yes, as it gives more traction during rainy weather.
Yes, as that goes for the same motor setup in aftermarket HEV setup in my de Sol as it came with front wheel drive in original. This as I made it. AWD with 2 motors in rear. Battery behind seats and third electric motor is starter motor and generator with combustion engine in the front.
Yes, Wawatuki, however this adds some weight but adds more power and torque, and also improves fuel economy.
Correct, as engine shuts off when coming to a stop to save fuel, however can be disabled, and in automatic gear mode, can go in electric operation until battery gets low. At speeds up to 40 km per hour or when power meter reaches 30% as engine kicks in via the starter motor, in which then cranks the motor becoming a generator to charge and maintain the battery while powering front wheels through transmission. However, when the engine transmission is at N and E motor mode in drive or reverse, on my Enrico's car, for some reason, only the motors power the said car. This as engine gets used to maintain charge, even above 40 km per hour, or 25 miles per hour, 24 kilonitros per choi, 113 co matros per trocont, up to 120 km per hour or 72 kilonitros per choi. close to 75 miles per hour or 340 km per trocont, when on motorway 75, as per testing earlier today, when the motors reached the red line, in which I and Rakel had to shift to gear to enable engine drive. This engine was not powering the wheels as only the electric motors power the wheels in HEV aftermarket, to be series hybrid operation?
Yes, this is we may need to consider upgrading our batteries to maybe 2.5 kilowatt-hours, reconfigure the ECU to go in electric operation up to at least 80 kilometers per hour.
I do note, however, my car being a hybrid car, can power using the electric motors up to 160 to 180 kilometers h when engine is running a series hybrid or can act as parallel hybrid. With clutches, mine is a 2-motor setup with engine and can go electric alone with minimal power, up to at least 100 kilometers h when cruising, maybe 110, then engine kicks in even at 60% state of charge on battery.
Yes, as I saw your car as with the Mazda and the Dassault on trip to specialty store to Savage City. Take note, I also Razzle and Dazzle are into a friendly sim racing match in Speed Blitz 2025. You should note this map and virtual track we compete in, as we compete in virtuals e-courses, as you must note the physicals e-courses being street legal ones parked outside the colors of our apparel, including gloves, jerseys, headband, shoes, and pants, being the same colors as with our cars.
Alito Futura? In the 2125 Z Costa? This as the style is a lot different compared to the 2025 Flex Z Costa PEV and PHEV drive that is parked next to my Citrix Hybrid.
Yes, as this was competed in Blitz EREV Sim Racing Tournament earlier in the week last Monday 4th, in which was postponed from Sunday 3rd due to eSports Watch Party and moved to Alitos Sphere. Correct, Razzle as I Dazzle note. This was featured on VWGT earlier this afternoon, then was continued on VWGT at 3 p.m. hour, ends up featuring on RDK TSRT Blitz. Yes, Dazzle, this is IMAXI's event note from correspondent. Our gameplay gets televised on VWG2N. I Crinkles note, it gets shown on VWG2N but not on RDK TV due to RDK TSRT 24-hour newsbeat, as they mention the top stories. We must not forget the Xenopolian New Year in the next hour.
Next hour? Crinkles, what is the current time? I hadn't paid attention to the time.
You have your watch on you, as the event for XEY 2003 to occur at 8 o'clock, top of Crown Zero. Yes, Crinkles as I Raymond Danzian must give time check for Yat and for you Verwatuki. It is 7:24 p.m., 1924. 97.5 EMT, 2340 TRX on Wednesday, August 6, 2025 in Pentas, Theta 5th, EY 1025, ED 217. We have 36 minutes, 2.5 choice, and 60 decinutes to event where it's 6:24 p.m. in Xenopolis City, Xenopolia. Yes, Raymond Danzian, this being same time zone as with Reeker, in which I and Verwatuki went to past weekend.
Oh yes, this being the car show we went to, in Rexer in the past weekend, as the judges was split on the winner, as there's 2 winners for the car show being tied in first for us, as we split the top prize of 25,000 Elios.
Yes, and the car parade that follows around Reeker.
Crinkles, I Wawatuki have heard subject on my pocket radio tuned to Alito GRESP radio on 100.7 MHz on FM band on the radio. This is we must check into. This may be pre-alarm to subject this evening, as we must be on alert. Correspondent named Raymond Blake, he said. Subject may occur at 8 o'clock at Choi and Asinud 0. This is one from the team visiting Digi Gamer Force X to compete against Team Right Trex this Friday evening at 8 o'clock. It may be plausible that VATP to do something in relation to DGFC at 8 o'clock tonight.
8 o'clock, p.m. Look bud, this in over half hour, as it's not even half past. I do learn of subject via friend as well, on my phone. We must hunt for Raymond Blake, or one of his colleagues from Alito GRESP, but we must avoid getting photo-bombed. Go get out your pocket mate, Verwatuki, and tune to VWGT in television mode as I to get out mine and tune to Alito GRESP.
Which network for VWG2N airing? RDK TV?
No. that channel to air RDK countdown. Watch in next several minutes. Tune to Vero Television.
I have noted Raymond Blake, as with VATP. Where is Digi Gamerforce X?
Beside, duh. Raymond Blake is on one side adjacent, by the way. I wonder why the fizz. Is there something to be announced?
Yes, as the announcement to be made in next minute at 7:30, as it's 7:29 as I note the digital clock at EDA.
Who said that?
Me!
Eep, I'm Axes of N heard from DGFX. There is potential to be esports, as I see the ZGRNZ fuel banners raised. Razzle, dazzle, we must abort, and call off the friendly sim racing match, exit the game, and get ready for live stream of esports. Yes, this is an event of esports, we to go in spectate view and video game to be announced. Yes, Razzle, as I dazzle note, would be Counter Blitz Striker 2.
I do learn, it would yield Trek's alarm, but it is not needed since the crew was already here since last Trek's alarm.
Yes, Swift, as this will definitely not trigger another code R with roll call alarm since we were given notice in near term.
Yes, Trixie, as that is pre-alarm as it's approaching 7:30, as you must monitor VWGT, Verwatuki.
Fellow said, DGRF to challenge VATP. Mind the Westminster chime on my phone for half past. Challenge accepted. In the gamer battle, esports match is confirmed. It to start at 8 o'clock in 30 minutes. Digi Gamerforce X. To compete against Videoilitis.pro. As I learn. Best of 5. Crinkles. Have you heard of Counter Blitz Striker 2? I have not heard of it. They to compete in it.
Yes, Verwatuki. However, in this case, we must head to the exit and head to our cars. We to head to Altroni Pizza for the Zeno New Year countdown, Tronic style while ordering pizza, but we must take back way and due to ZEV route on the said street. Oh my god. That is quite unexpected.
Hold up. Car radio.
Sports alert to pass to you at 7:30 p.m. Elite City with half-hour warning to new Zeno year. There is an esports match that is going to be held at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, cancel charging operation, unplug the car, and get into your car now.
Oh my god, I received push notification on phone. Charging is already halted upon learning of news.
Good, you start the PHEV hybrid system on your 2025 Flex Blitz RS. PHEV hybrid R plug-in hybrid hot hatch as I to start the engine on my 1999 Flex Blitz RS being the late 90s hot hatch.
PM Elite City, 00.0 EMT. 0000 TRX. The esports teams to be competing, Vitioilitus.pro to compete against, DG Gamerforce X, this in best of 5 encounter Blitz Striker 2. This is a special sponsored esports match gamer battle, called, ZGR, Z-Fuel, Esports Gamer Battle, Sigma Siege, 2025, EY 1025. Tonight's LAN party gets to conclude as it to be held tomorrow in afternoon.
We must head to Elite City, as we must depart Savage City immediately and to head to Alito Plaza Center. Mind other subject at 8. Savage City will not set off fireworks due to baseball at ballpark as per request by ELB. However, baseball game is under delay due to bees. However, was first delayed due to automatic lawn sprinklers. Then topless female running onto field in which sets off auto sensor and feed switch to audio only from Alito Sports Radio as it would have started at 7:10.
This is an RDK 3000 TriStar Today News Flash. I am Mark E. Crypter from Studio RDE. We at RDK Newsline are also following an esports alert. This is we at RDK 3000 TriStar RDK Newsline learn. There is an esports match that is going to be held at the top of the hour at 2000 hours RDK ELC, 00.0 EMT, 0000 TRX on Wednesday, August 6th, 2025 and Nilotas, Theta 6th, EY 1025, ED 218. This at start of Xenopolian New Year of XEY 2003 in Maine. The esports teams to be competing, Vitioilitus.pro to compete against the new team that gets debuted earlier in afternoon during VWGT and RDK 3000 TriStar Today Blitz. DG Gamerforce X, this in best of 5 encounter Blitz Striker 2. This is a special sponsored esports match gamer battle, called ZGR, Z-Fuel, Esports Gamer Battle, Sigma Siege, 2025, EY 1025. This is a result. Tonight's LAN party gets to conclude as it to be held tomorrow in afternoon. To recap what we learn, there is an esports match that is going to be held at the top of the hour at 2000 hours RDK ELC, 00.0 EMT, 0000 TRX on Wednesday, August 6th, 2025 in Nilotas, Theta 6th, EY 1025, ED 218, this at start of Xenopolian New
Princess
Year
Omega, thanks to the esports match, we must head to my Alito Mobile, as we must head to Alito Plaza Center, we to listen to this on car radio but on Alito News Radio.
What about the fireworks at 2000 hours, Choi and Decinet Zero for Xenopolian New Year for Salute for Xenoguardian?
It's on a timer, and computer controlled. It's automatic, however I can put it in override and manually set it off remotely as one of the Alito guards or Aliti the Alito Trint bird, or Scrippy, the Alitopi and Kin Eagle being our companions to master it internally or stop it if things go wrong. This is Scrippy and Aliti does know how to stop the fireworks, this via the red button, being the word stop in Elitish wording also in English, also the pictogram being stop sign red and white octagon with hand. TriStar Radio Service 4 on the radio. To recap, VATP and DGFX to compete in esports match gamer battle at the top of the hour at 2000 hours RDK ELC, best of 5, Counter Blitz Striker 2. We have to pass you an RDK 3000 TriStar television service programming notice. We would have returned to VWG2N but due to time, we are ending the Xylem cast for this hour as the show to return at 2100 hours RDK ELC. This is we are due to start RDK countdown watch for the Xenopolian New Year countdown. To repeat, we would have returned to VWG2N but due to time. We are ending the Xylem cast for this hour as the show to return at 2100 hours RDK ELC. This is we are due to start RDK countdown watch for the Xenopolian New Year countdown. If anything happens to VWG2N episode, incidents, or its production, we will let ya know, and if the show gets to conclude during RDK Countdown Watch or RDK TSRT Prime, we will let ya know.
I am Chris K. Cryptor joining in, as we welcome the remaining networks of RDK TSR, television, radio, streaming and more as we are powered up always. Always, this is RDK Countdown Watch starts now.
This is for you, Raymond Danzian, iShaker, Mickey D. Cryptor, Mickey Daniels must escort you to the elevator as we to head to ground floor, Prehop's second floor, toward Alito Plaza Center as I to head to the EDA to report on subject for RDK TSRT. As Studio RDE is restricted access as you should head somewhere else, like for example the lobby at RDK 3000 TriStar Main HQ, or toward Alito Plaza Center or outside. What about Scott, your niece? They are with the RD Trex kids. He is being taken care by my sister Danielle D. Cryptor, Daisy. Remain still as we are in the elevator as I press 2. As we are heading down to second floor.
That was Raymond Blake from Alito GRESP to repeat, match to start at 2000 RDK ELC. This is they to compete in best of 5 in Counter Blitz Striker 2.
The esports match gamer battle to be on Alito GRESP, in addition to Aero Breeze and Barrow Plus in which gets relaunched earlier in the week, in addition to within RDK TSR network on RDK GRESP and RDK 3000 TriStar Radio Service 4. This is on RDK GRESP, we provide the main, Excite and Minimap feeds.
Coverage is also to be on Newsview on RDK 3000 TriStar today during live report as that is up next with pre-match countdown to the esports match gamer battle as with to the other event to occur unrelated to it. As that is the Xenopolian New Year also to occur at top of the hour of XEY 2003.
This is we showcase the shot at Alito NYE Central of Alito Plaza Center. This is we are close to the final 15 to the Xeno New Year of XE.Y 2003. This is Mark Z. Cryptor. Raptor is delivering remark to the revelers on reminder of esports match that gets recently announced to occur at top of the hour via PA.
This being VidAOIlitus.pro versus DigiGamer Force X. Best of 5, Counter Blitz Striker 2 at start of XEY 2003.
This is we have 15 minutes left to the Zeno Numerals X2.Y 2003 in Maine, Context. This is Lion Jerry, King Richard, and the crew has started the 15-minute sequence. This is we take you to Elite City then Xenopolis City next. This is the NYP walls to be raised. Code T has been fired, originated from Arrow Elitopian feed, that result in auto-censor, during VWG2N, codes TE and VT fired. Subjects occurred since 1945 RDK ELC and 0.
Stand by for a programming alert. This is an RDK 3000 TriStar television service programming alert. Tonight's episode of VWG2N must have to conclude over codes T, VT, and TE acts, as the subject toggled off auto-censor on Arrow E. This is it sets off Triangle Shield on Triangle Television and Jinx Safety System on Jinx Vision, in which cuts to Jinx Net and Silimcast.
Subjects occurred since 1945 RDK ELC and 0. Subjects was not shown on Arrow N, Arrow I and Barrow, but code TE with ABM and INMC Tony fired on Arrow N and Arrow I. Topless female on video monitor blamed on Arrow E auto censor, on Triple X and Roman numeral of 30 and count on edited version of Roman numerals on piano, in which BWG2N producer looked at breasts on monitor and said offensive remark.
This is he gets suspended. This is even Jinx Media has told Barrow and Arrow to halt BWG2N episode, as due to rule, since it only affected Arrow E. BWG2N episode must halt on Arrow on all three feeds and on Barrow. BWG2N host has been reassigned to cover for Alito GRESP. This is a result. RDK 3000 TriStar today to be extended to become a 2-hour newscast as the hosts to return in tomorrow's airing.
This is RDK TSRT to be airing next after programming break. I am Mark E. Cryptor and this is Chris K. Cryptor as we see you in a few. BMK for KBGREXPX, and Neoya Nitronivision for Trony Explosivision. Distributed via Synerd Media to Trinity Productions for Triangle TV and Yumi Kubo Esquire for Alidokawai TV. Distributed for Ion Neo GR Vision by INMC, Arrow ESP Net by ABM, Jinx Vision by Jinx Media, TXV8 and VZV3 by Synerd Media. VWG2N is a production of Barrow and Arrow, a subsidiary of Synerd Media, under by ETXTM with assistance from ABM and INMC. Produced in association with Elitotronics Telemedia, and distributed by RDK 3000 TriStar Television Studio Productions. A division of RDK 3000 TriStar. CR 2025, EY 1025, and TS 1000.9, TDE 2002. All rights reserved. This is Chris A at Arrow MCAV. Stand by for a programming notice.
This is a Vero television programming notice.
Mark D. Cryptor once again with another programming notice. Illido GRESP Game Day Live Tonight is only to be shown on Arrow Vision. This is it cannot be shown on Vero due to request to air RDK 3000 TriStar TV service for remainder of the RDK Countdown Watch then RDK TSRT Prime by Mark E. Cryptor and Chris K. Cryptor. For subjects in the 21H RDK ELC hour devoted to topics in relation to DG Gamer Force X in which BWG2N would have cover on same hour in which gets moved to RDK TSRT due to BWG2N episode axed on code T on Arrow E that sets off auto censor.
This is RDK 3000 TriStar today. I am Chris K. Cryptor.
And I am Mark E. Cryptor, broadcasting live and direct from RDK 3000 TriStar RDK Newsline News Center over at RDK 3000 TriStar Main HQ in Elite City, Federal District, Elitopia.
We are powered up always on all RDK networks, television, radio, streaming and more. The latest at this hour.
This explains why traffic is slow, as there are detours and road closures for the subject at top of the hour. This is I had to get home after car show. This is Car Show has, oh my god, game on. Esports. 8 o'clock p.m. I knew it. This is I heard subject on car radio on the way home. This is the new esports team gets debuted earlier this afternoon. This is Darren 48, Daniel Raidzutter. Do note my friends are at Alito Plaza Center, however the LAN party gets axed as a result over esports, however there to be one tomorrow in afternoon. What? 2 new channels debuting next month. I do note this to replace those on channel 10 and one other. This is I need to check into RDK TSRT headline rundown as the TV gets tuned to RDK TV. This is I note. Altronic City also joins in with countdown to subject at 8 but not esports.
The dates of the ERC 2025 EY 1025 Rally Raid Racing have been announced to start August 13, 2025 or Theta 12 EY 1025.
Oh my god. This just next Wednesday and Nilod is at 3 o'clock p.m. 79.1 EMT, 1900 TRX. But start in Sharkville being 1 p.m. over there.
We welcome to the viewers
what?
of Arrow Television.
VWG2N episode ended so suddenly? Damn. Must check DVR as it's armed to record on Vero, not Arrow. As iTunes said TV from RDK TV to Vero as I do expect esports coverage. RDK TSRT Xylem Cast.
Triangle Shield on Triangle Television and Jinx Safety System on Jinx Vision in which cuts to Jinx Net in Silemcast.
Subjects occurred since 1945 RDK ELC and 0. Subjects was not shown on Arrow N, Arrow I and Vero but code TE with ABM and INMC auto mute fired on Arrow N and Arrow I. Topless female on video monitor blamed on Arrow E auto sensor, on XXX and Roman numeral of 30 and count on edited version of Roman numerals on piano, in which VWG2N producer looked at breasts on monitor and said offensive remark. During report on VWGT on Arrow Elito feed on summary debrief on DG Gamer Force X. I must have to turn on the other TV being TV DVD combo, and turn on the TD Vision receiver box as third TV is tuned to RDK TV in another room. On Jinx Vision and Triangle TV that sets off Jinx safety system. I read news banner on RDK TV and Vero, this in which is stupid, this is it's a form of stupidity. I have seen the video too on piano Roman numeral with X-rated content at 30 encounter, the video gets taken down as user terminated off the platform, although he had no strikes prior hand, as he gets terminated after more than one strike. Severe violation is additional scenes show porn and sex for next 5 minutes to end of video. That set off auto sensor then VWG2N producer looked at breasts on monitor and said code TE stunt.
As due to rule, since it only affected Arrow E. Due to this, also in stern order.
Okay, RDK TSRT Xylem Cast is not shown on Arrow, as it's airing GDL2N. This is I messaged my friends. They say that Game Day Live Tonight is also on Arrow Eratopian and Neoionican feeds too. They are at Alito GR Bar rather than the Alito DG Arena Esports Gamer Battle Arena. This is they are waiting for me, as I to power off the TVs and receiver box, and eject the CD loaded in DVD slot, head back to my car and drive to downtown. Thank God, traffic is improving a lot, as it was slow earlier.
That was Raymond Blake from Alito GRESP to repeat. Match to start at 2000 RDK ELC. This is they to compete in best of 5 in Counter Blitz Striker 2.
The esports match gamer battle to be on Alito GRESP, in addition to Arrow Breeze and Vero Plus in which gets relaunched earlier in the week, in addition to within RDK TSR network on RDK GRESP and RDK 3000 TriStar radio service 4. This is on RDK GRESP, we provide the main, Excite and Minimap feeds.
Coverage is also to be on Newsview on RDK 3000 TriStar today during live report as that is up next with pre-match countdown to the esports match gamer battle as with to the other event to occur unrelated to it. As that is the Xenopolian New Year also to occur at top of the hour of XEY 2003.
This is we showcase the shot at Alito NYE Central of Alito Plaza Center. This is we are close to the final 15 to the Xeno New Year of XE.Y 2003. This is Mark Z Cryptor. Raptor is delivering remark to the revelers on reminder of esports match that gets recently announced to occur at top of the hour via PA.
This being VidAOIlitis.pro versus DigiGamer Force X. Best of 5, Counter Blitz Striker 2 at start of XEY 2003.
This is we have 15 minutes left to the Xeno New Year of XE.Y 2003 in Maine, Connex. This is Lion Jared, King Richard, and the crew has started the 15-minute sequence. This is we take you to Elite City then Xenopolis City next. This is the NYE balls to be raised, EVE. Code T has been fired, originated from Arrow Elitopian feed, that result in auto-sensor, during VWG2N, codes TE and VT fired. Subjects occurred since 1945 RDK ELC and 0.
Stand by for a programming alert. This is an RDK 3000 TriStar television service programming alert. Tonight's episode of BWG2N must have to conclude over codes T, BT and TE acts, as the subject toggled off auto sensor on arrow E. This as it sets off triangle shield on triangle television and Jinx safety system on Jinx vision, in which cuts to Jinx net in Silimcast.
Subjects occurred since 1945 RDK ELC and 0. Subjects was not shown on arrow N, arrow I and Vero, but code TE with ABM and INMC auto mute fired on arrow N and arrow I. Topless female on video monitor blamed on arrow E auto sensor, on XXX in Roman numeral of 30 in count on edited version of Roman numerals on piano, in which VWG2N producer looked at breasts on monitor and said offensive remark.
This is he gets suspended. This is even Jinx Media as told Vero and Arrow to halt BWG2N episode. As due to rule, since it only affected arrow E, BWG2N episode must halt on arrow on all 3 feeds and on Vero. BWG2N hosts has been reassigned to cover for Elito GRESP. This is a result, RDK 3000 TriStar today to be extended to become a 2-hour newscast as the hosts to return in tomorrow's airing.
This is RDK TSRT to be airing next after programming break. I am Mark E. Cryptor and this is Chris K. Cryptor, as we see you in a few.
Whoever responsible must be. Then, VWG2 episode slated to end over this. Ahem, Mark Alito trap. I must cut in. It is important and urgent. I am Jared Cosmostar. In case you did not know, the auto sensor has went off on Arrow Alito feed. This blamed on video showing on monitor as that was not shown on others with exception of JinxNet and Triangle Television. Originated from video titled Roman numeral on piano with a twist with Easter egg on 30 being topless surprise. Being XXX in which refers to 18 plus NSFW content. Due to this, also in stern order from Jinx Media. Plus after obscene remark by field producer in which yields mute. VWG2N episode needs to end. As Game Day Live Todd Night to air up next on Arrow Neo-Ionican and Aritopian feeds in addition to Arrow Elitopian feeds. The VWG2N hosts has been reassigned to cover for match as they to be back tomorrow.
The message is delivered by Mark's Numerals, Raptor from RDK 3000.
This is a Vero television programming notice. VWG2N episode termination notice.
VWG2N episode terminated. Okay, as I write details on my MC Pocket page, as I go on I am Mark Z Cryptor, Mark Zaniels, Raptor, from RDK 3000 TriStar with this programming notice to Vero. Tonight's VWG2N episode must have to conclude this due to code T, topless surprise on video monitor in which becomes code BT, during report on VWGT on Arrow Alito feed on summary debrief on DG Gamer Force X, that sets off auto sensor. As that was aired on Jinx Vision and Triangle TV that sets off Jinx Safety System and Triangle Shield but was not aired on Arrow Neo-Ionican and Aritopian feeds, Vero, RDK TV and the distributors. Due to rule, in addition to request from Jinx Media, the show on Arrow on all three feeds and Vero must have to conclude. This blamed on Easter egg that fired on 30 on counter at 1945 RDK ELC and 0 seconds on edited video of Roman numerals on piano being XXX in which refers to 18 plus, NSFW content in relation to porn, sex, nudity and such. When the topless female appeared exposed breasts that set off auto censor then VWG2N producer looked at breasts on monitor and said code TE stunt. VWG2N hosts has been reassigned for Alito GRESP, GDL2N, as they to be back tomorrow. In behalf of VWG2N crew, and those from RDK 3000 TriStar, iRaptor wishes those tuning a splendid Zeno New Year of XEY 2003 in Connix. Reminder for remainder RDK Countdown Watch, in which I report on final minutes from here. Tune to RDK TV now. Distributed via RDK TV SP to KBMK for KBGREXPX, and Neoionic for Troni Explosivision. Distributed via Synerd Media to Trinity Productions for Triangle TV and Yumi Kumo Esquire for Alitoka TV. Distributed for Ion Neo GR Vision by INMC, Aero ESP Net by ABM, Jinx Vision by Jinx Media, TXV8 and VZV3 by Synerd Media. VWG2N is a production of Vero and Aero, a subsidiary of Synerd Media, under by ETXTM with assistance from ABM and INMC. Produced in association with Elitotronics Telemedia, and distributed by RDK 3000 TriStar Television Studio Productions. A division of RDK 3000 TriStar. CR 2025, EY 1025, NTS 1000.9, TDE 2002. All rights reserved. This is Chris A at Aero Vero MCAV. Stand by for a programming notice.
This is a Vero television programming notice.
Mark Z. Crypter once again with another programming notice. Elito GRESP Game Day Live Tonight is only to be shown on Aerovision. This as it cannot be shown on Vero due to request to air RDK 3000 TriStar TV service for remainder of the RDK Countdown Watch then RDK TSRT Prime by Mark E. Crypter and Chris K. Crypter. For subjects in the 21H RDK ELC hour devoted to topics in relation to DG Gamer Force X in which VWG2N would have cover on same hour in which gets moved to RDK TSRT due to VWG2N episode axed on code T on Arrow E that sets off auto sensor.
This is RDK 3000 TriStar today. I am Chris K. Crypter.
And I am Mark E. Crypter, broadcasting live and direct from RDK 3000 TriStar RDK Newsline News Center over at RDK 3000 TriStar Main HQ in Elite City, Federal District, Elitopia.
We are powered up always on all RDK networks, television, radio, streaming and more. The latest at this hour. The dates of the ERC 2025, EY 1025 Rally Raid Racing have been announced to start August 13, 2025 or Theta 12, EY 1025. We welcome to the viewers of Vero Television in the Silimcast as we begin with a programming alert for those just tuning in and wondering what happened to VWG2N. Tonight's VWG2N episode needed to conclude on codes T, TE and VT event that sets off auto sensor on Arrow E. This is it sets off Triangle Shield on Triangle Television and Jinx Safety System on Jinx Vision in which cuts to Jinx Net in Silimcast.
Subjects occurred since 1945 RDK ELC and 0. Subjects was not shown on Arrow N, Arrow I and Vero but code TE with ABM and INMC auto mute fired on Arrow N and Arrow I. Topless female on video monitor blamed on Arrow E auto sensor, on XXX in Roman numeral of 30 and count on edited version of Roman numerals on piano, in which VWG2N producer looked at breasts on monitor and said offensive remark. During report on VWGT on Arrow Elito feed on summary debrief on DG Gamer Force X, that sets off auto sensor.
This is he gets suspended. This is even Jinx Media has told Barrow and Arrow to halt VWG2N episode.
As that was aired on Jinx Vision and Triangle TV that sets off Jinx Safety System and Triangle Shield but was not aired on Arrow Neoyonican and Aerotopian feeds, Barrow, RDK TV and the distributors.
This blamed on video showing on monitor as that was not shown on others with exception of Jinx Net and Triangle Television. Originated from video titled Roman numeral on piano with a twist with Easter egg on 30 being topless surprise. Being XXX in which refers to 18 plus NSFW content.
When the topless female appeared exposed breasts that set off auto-censor then VWG2N producer looked at breasts on monitor and said code TE stunt.
As due to rule, since it only affected Arrow E. Due to this, also in stern order from Jinx Media, plus after obscene remark by field producer in which yields mute, VWG2N episode needs to end. VWG2N hosts has been reassigned to cover for Alito GRESP. This is a result. RDK 3000 TriStar today to be extended to become a 2-hour newscast as the hosts to return in tomorrow's airing.
Trex City 911, what is your emergency?
Fireworks just went off in Doge City. Heard from Doge Radio. for the Zempelian New Year of XEY 2003, this as there is another incident occurring, this being some illegal street race and stunt driving, as the fellows went off straight ahead, doing donuts and doing illegal street race. There is a car meet in progress as there are several cars in the JVM-style street race. The fellows are going over 160 kilometers per hour, 100 mph and 40 kilometers per hour, 25 miles per hour zone.
Jinx, show the clock on center lower screen and verbally announce the time.
It is exactly 99.7 EMT just now, or 2392 TRX, 1955 hours, or 7:55 PM on August 6, 2019, Theta 5th ESC, Zeta 35th EDC, Elite Year 1019, Elite Day 217, Hotel Chi 1ZAT 79er, 7157 EMDM, 372 399 EMDE, Zen date 939 939, vehicle clock synchronized with clock server 1 minute ago, EV range left, 167 kN, 67 kilometers, fuel range, 1500 kN, 600 kilometers, HV battery state of charge at 87%, you are going at posted speed limit, odometer, 100,003 kN, 40,001 kilometers, fuel level, and type, 75%, E100 ethanol fuel.
Made it at the desired destination. Gonna get my backpack, however I am parked in front of my house since Chris Zaniel's car is in the garage, as I am going to turn off the car, as I will get my key fob and drink plus my smartphone, in which I just already grabbed. Mark Zaniels, I do recall the car that you used when I visit back in 2019, EY1019, or TDE 1996, 2736 ATRE, for new quad J Trocant in Alito of NTS 372.4-E as I spectate esports match when you and TKG compete against Celeb Alpha while JXEG competed against Celeb Bravo. As the said teams is now as Elite City Galaxy, as your former teammate Jacob, who owns the said car you sell to him in 2020. I Mark Z Cryptor, Mark Zaniels, Raptor do remember the said car, what gives? He and the car deliberately went off the road going at posted speed limit but ran a red traffic light toward River Street southbound in a stop sign just the intersection prior, into Alpha River, as I heard the police scanner. And the scanner for the Elite City Fire Department, as the fire department received an emergency call. Whoa. He would have been pulled over by the police, as he would have been ticketed and face a 150 LEO fine for failure to stop at the red traffic light and stop sign, as that is dangerous and illegal, as that means to stop when approaching a stop sign or a red traffic light. As that is a form of stupidity, plus 2 points on his license. Where he splashed into Capitol Street, as he turned right when approaching the bridge. He and the car is confirmed underwater, being 40 meters underwater as he was swept in the strong currents. As the currents flow is westward, the car landed near Elite City College of Tech campus premises to east side. Near Rex Bridge, being Smith Street, near auditorium adjacent to Embassy of Rex Tapalia, being 60 meters underwater. You should note, Jacob showed the video in subject to fellow at EDA named Bart, as Bart did a prank that sets off auto censor, as that was the last instance the video was played. Then the video was taken down as his channel was terminated for porn. This upsets him as he took his own life and suicide and wreck his car also when he drives into Alpha River. Is Jacob Rinkster drowned? I believe so, yes.
Bart Trexkip, I learned that the Elitopian TV networks based in Elite City, Trex Vision 8 and Breeze Vision 3 to be joint run by Synergy Media under Elitotronics Telemedia and Net27 IDE, under Net27 Group. The logo to be different but the data screen will remain unchanged but theme refresh with new font, in which back on 6, gets used for the new Synergy Media logo for closing of VWGT and VWG2N. Net27 ITD to launch on evening on 20th at 8 City time, and international networks of Keyboard TV/TV Kraken and 146net launch on September 26, 2025 with Razdes International Tronic Diamond at 8 o'clock p.m. August 21, 2025. As did to occur week prior for Elitopian counterpart in October 2025 for Robloxia covering Dogeland, and Nyanland is the HQ to be housed in Doge City, active construction underway, whereas the Elitopian counterpart to be adjacent to the clock tower on Canbertronic Street in Elite City. And the TDU counterpart where TD News Melops get housed as it to be moved to operations of ITR Newsnet, with bureaus in Xenopolis City, Xenopolia and Silver City, Corgitopia, Relay in Kesar City, Kesar Republic and Hex City, Hextopolia.
Mark Young tracks where the bureau gets to be located.
Next to Doge Broadcasting Corporation, where Doge TV and Doge Vision 7 gets transmitted, on Doge City's west side down the road from Doge GR Corner, Doge GR Bar, Doge DG Arena Esports Arena and Doge Chicken. And the Retrex Swift Clocks Tower near the site of the car meet on evening of 6th turned out illegal street race in celebration of Xenopolian New Year resulted in mass police response.
Odd, how's the weather in Doge City? I see something in the distance.
It was raining and quite breezy, as a special weather statement is ended for Doge City by DogeMat. 40 millimeters of rainfall was expected, wind gusts to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour along a front, as it's clear now. This was the same front in which drenched Elite City with rainfall and thunderstorm advisory and severe weather to the east with tornadoes and flash flooding. The rain has since moved out moments ago as the sun is shining but quite cool for mid-August. Normal was 25 degrees Celsius, current is 14 degrees Celsius as it was warm prior to front arrival being close to normal like 24 degrees Celsius, as I note on TV, via the tower cam, some rainbow to the east side. As I check Doppler radar query for area you are visiting, oh my, stronger activity to the southeast. You in a car or inside building?
In my car, driving the Mazda Speed 3, heading southbound on Highway 4 in Crinkle toward Canberra Blocks.
Based on the Doppler radar readout mode, radial velocity would yield up to 75, maybe 80 to 85 kilometers per hour wind gusts, and based on automated weather station report, wind gusts sustained 50 kilometers per hour gusts to 84 kilometers per hour from west, and 150 kilometers and 240 kilometers to the south, indicating gusts of 96 and 105 kilometers per hour. Heavy rain with thunderstorm, querying weather alerts, severe thunderstorm watches and warnings to the south, thunderstorm alert for area you are heading along the route, storm clouds at 4 o'clock, on clock position.
I do hear, strong thunderstorm alert is active for area along the route, as it would be close to severe but remain below severe threshold, as it gets severe warned to the south as I heard report on radio.
Do you have your raincoat on you and rain gear?
Yes, it's in my bag behind the seats.
The storm is not severe warned but producing 70 kilometers per hour wind gusts, lightning and small hail, but main concern is heavy to torrential rainfall with flood-related products issued in heavy rainfall warning, as it's into level 3 warning, upgraded from level 2 warning. Emergency warning is level 5. Based on similar 5-tier scale used by the JMA and Bozai awareness in Nipponland, level 3 meaning elderly to evacuate, level 4, all persons must evacuate, level 5 means to take action to protect lives and property. Level 1 is amber, level 2 is orange, level 3 is red, level 4 is white, level 5 is black. As per abundance of caution, head to the Y junction and turn slight right. This leads to higher elevation as there's a slight incline toward the hills. Look out for wildlife and drive with caution. Use lower gear if needed for steep incline.
Red warning for rainfall? Level 3 of 5? And that is Route 32, as I am already on the said route but the road is not paved.
Yes, as I will keep track of developments. Good thing I received most of the Elitopian and Tronic Diamond also Canbordian channels on satellite, although if anything naughty happens, in accordance to Block's LAN code, we'll censor it out and showcase some filler clip of interest until the subjective no longer gets shown. This is the channel gets tuned to RDK TV main airing VWGT Silumcast from Vero, not Arrow, as I also received Block's weather channel. However, RDK TV went into RDK 3000 TriStar Today 24-hour newsbeat. As I must tell you something, not only the font for Synergy Media gets used, Cave Your Dreams, it also to be used for the remaining logos for the network under Synergy Media, and in accordance to Elitotronics Telemedia guidelines, to be also applied for the rest of Elitotronics Telemedia, for the logos even Elito News 24 Deckmill and JinxNet, as per management of RDK 3000 TriStar. To be used for the new logo sometime in September.
As stated in the opener, we must remind that sensitive and distressing subjects are disallowed. Due to such acts, we no longer request or include subjective topics after concerns of violence, dangerous acts, and due to respect, as those who request such scenes in question may get rejected or gets unlisted/age restricted. For inquiries concerning this, get in touch of us via the handles now shown on the screen. Also get in hold of us if you have any other inquiries, questions, or remarks. If you are new to the channel, do not hesitate to subscribe and click on the bell. Also don't forget to like, favorite, add to your playlists and share. If you have any thoughts on the contents of the video presentation, have your say in the comments section. Those who spam, leave nasty remarks, or objectionable, lewd, abusive, sensitive or distressing or otherwise objectionable content in the comments section will get their comments deleted. Those who continue may get sanctioned. Do follow us on X. Also check out the Deviant artwork on DeviantArt. Also hit Trexer up on Discord, Mastodon, Twitch, Minecraft, Habbo and others. Additional credits, updates and remarks in video description. Unless otherwise stated, this is a work of fiction. Media used belongs to respective owners. Story and plot takes place in KBE 224 in main Canberra Galaxy in/or KBE 571 in all everything. Additional credits, follow-up and updates if needed to be in video description area below. Unless used in any review or editorial use, distribution, reproduction, and utilization of work by RDK 3000 TriStar, in part or as while, without permission is prohibited. This video presentation CR 2025, EY 1025, NTS 1000.9, TDE 2002, TX.Y25, RY.E65, RY.DZY4.7, 55, RMY23.9, KB.P20, KB.SDY Gros 2 DOSDEC, 178, RDK 3000 TriStar Video Studio Productions, a division of RDK 3000 TriStar, all rights reserved. Canberra's event content used in this video presentation provided by KZP, under by KBIP. Roblox scenes used in RDK video presentation by R8664 Studios. Thanks for watching as we see you in another video. Goodbye. The preceding video presentation was a presentation of RDK VSP, an RDK VSP production presentation. CR 2025, EY 1025, RDK VSP, all rights reserved. This has been an RDK 3000 TriStar Video Studio production presentation.